Gentlemen, today I've got a diet soup for you that you can eat anytime you want, as much as you want, and it won't affect your weight. Here on Big Pretty Man. Hi, and welcome back to Big Pretty Man, the channel for the extra large man who wants to live his life large and in charge. I'm your host, Timothy Big Pretty Crowe. I'm a wardrobe and lifestyle consultant for the extra large man. Okay, gentlemen, now if you follow my channel, then you know that about 2 weeks ago I started a new lifestyle as far as my dietary habits. I am aiming to lose 100 pounds. And in doing so, I've learned quite a bit already. And one thing that's really great that I wanted to share with you is what some people sometimes call the magic soup, or just the dietary vegetable soup. And this thing is great because one of the big challenges you have when you're trying to lose weight and you're watching calories, you're eating smaller portions, is you get hungry. You there's a point, especially in the evening, where it's like, oh god, I'm just so hungry. I could eat. You look at your mate's leg and think, ooh, that'd look good. With some carrots and onions. I've about reached that point a few times, but so therefore that's sort of the danger comes in to start snacking, nibbling, and or flat getting so hungry you end up eating a turkey. So, but there are some ways to help curb that, and one of them is this dietary soup that I'm going to show you how to make. And this dietary soup, there is practically very little calories in it if you go per bowl, per an 8-ounce bowl. This soup you could eat all of it you want. And it's not going to affect your diet, and it will fill you up. It will fulfill that need. But there is, there's like so little calories, as I'm going to show. Now, one thing I want to point out to first with this soup, and which is very important, is that this soup really has no or very little nutritional value. It's not, this is not to be made for a regular meal. That would not be good, and even could be a little hazardous to your health as far as your nutrition goes. So if you're going to make this, then don't think, well, I'm going to have that for lunch. No, don't have that for lunch. You have this like for a snack in between, or in the night when you're like, oh God, I'm so hungry. Eat this and it'll satisfy that. It's not for nutrition. It's not a meal. It is a supplement to just to tide you over. So now this recipe is very simple. It's mostly just cabbage, celery, and onions, tomato juice, and a few spices. Almost all of the calories are coming from the tomato juice. The can of tomato juice. So all the red, because celery and cabbage and onions have the calories are very low. In fact, as I'll explain when I'm making it, you could actually starve to death if all you ate was celery. So I'm going to show you how to make this soup. It is actually very good. It's very tasty. You almost feel guilty when you eat a big bowl of it, but then you got to remember this is probably like 30 calories for the entire bowl. That's about right. I think I averaged it out as about 30 calories per bowl. 30 calories. You almost burn it. You almost burn the amount eating it. So let's get going on that. Okay, so basically these are the ingredients you're going to need to make this dietary vegetable soup. Fairly simple. It's first off, you have about 3 to 4 stalks of celery, a half of a medium-sized cabbage, about 3 either yellow or white onions, mattering to taste, and this is actually going to be the main filler of this stew. That's it. And let me just say that the calories in this are minuscule, not even hardly worth talking about. In fact, celery, it actually burns more calories to chew celery than it has. So you can literally eat celery all day and starve to death. Same thing, onions and cabbage, it's minuscule. Now, you're also going to need a 46 ounce can of 100% tomato juice. And also you're going to need some bone broth. Now, there's about 270 calories in the tomato juice. There's about 60 calories in the bone broth. So and then you're going to need two other things. You're going to need this Lipton Secret Recipes. Now I'm using Beefy Onion, but if you can find French onion, it's just as well. In fact, the original recipe comes from is French onion, but I'm going to use this just for some taste. Another thing you can get, if you can't find this, then fine, you can just use the Beefy Onion. But also there is this packet of Caramel Dreams country style seasoned chicken noodle soup mix. And both of these are fairly low in calorie. There's 100 calories in the beef onion, and then there's about 130 in the packet. So, and really, as far as calories, that's it. Now, spices you're going to need is just going to be regular salt. If you use sea salt, that's actually better. I don't have any right now, so I just salt, pepper, some adobo, and some maybe a dash of cayenne pepper if you want. If you want a little bit of spice to it. And really that's it. And the calories in this, if you add it up, comes to about 500 calories. Now, that's, of course, that is a good section of your daily diet. However, this is going to make like 2 gallons worth of soup. So, per bowl, that's going to be practically nothing. Maybe even like 50 calories a bowl. So it's minuscule. It's nothing. Other than, the only ingredient that's going in this is water. Okay. So this will be a good soup to, very, very low calorie soup for you to eat how you want, when you want for snacks. You get hungry in between meals, grab a bowl of this. It'll fill you up. Calories are very low. It's not going to affect the diet. It's a perfect soup. Now, as you see here, I have chopped up all of these vegetables, and if you may notice, I've chopped them rather large, including the onions, rather thick pieces of onion, as well as the cabbage. And the reason I do that is because when I eat it, it will give a little bit more to chew, a little bit more volume, make you feel like you're, and also that bulk will help to fill you up. And like I said, with basically what is almost very, very, very low calorie to no calorie filling. So, it's adding bulk, but it's not adding any extra calories. Now, as you see, I have now put these vegetables in a pot and with water, and it's about a half a gallon of water for this much. I mean, basically, it's up to you, but get it up to the point where it's floating. About that, a good amount of water. Water's going to make up most of the broth to this. And now to this, I'm going to add the tomato juice. All right, and the bone broth. It smells really good, by the way. Yes. Going to give that a stir just to get it kind of worked in, as you can see. Yeah, just kind of work it in. I've got the heat up on high right now so that to get it going. And and really this is going to be a now, of course, the spices, this is going to be to your taste, but now you can leave salt completely out if you want to. It'd be a little bland. There is some salt, of course, in the tomato juice, though you can get low sodium tomato juice. And of course, there's going to be, actually there's very little to none in the bone broth. You really don't want extra salt in your bone broth, but I like a little salt in mine. So I'm going to, just to season, probably 3 tablespoons. I'm just guessing here. This is not rocket science. as Chef Pierre says it's cooking. Now I'm also going to add some adobo. And I like to go from all the way from one side to the other. That's my measurement. All right, adobo's some great stuff. Now remember, there's salt in that too, so you want to, be a little careful. After that, I'm going to throw a good portion of pepper in there. I like a little pepper, and once again, I just kind of go all the way across. To your taste. I would say that's probably 2 to 3 tablespoons. And now this one's purely optional. I like a little zest in mine. Once again, these aren't adding any calories to it, so I'm just going to do a little bit of maybe 2 or 3 pinches of cayenne pepper. That's going to give us a little bit of fire, a little bit of taste. So and then of course I'm going to stir all that up, as you see. Okay. Now I'm going to wait for that to heat up a bit. Now next I'm going to add the recipe secrets, which is the beef and onion. So now, like I said, if you get French onion, that's actually better. I'm trying this out because I think I want to like it. There are 2 packets in there. You could use both packets. I think I'm just going to use one, which give it about 50 calories instead of 100. So I'm cutting right there. I'm cutting calories out. So let's get that in there. All right, like that. Okay. And of course, I'm going to throw in this whole bag full of the chicken noodle soup mix. Put that in there. All right, and of course I'm going to stir that all in real thoroughly in this huge mix here. Yeah. Now, one thing I will say is that if you wanted to add other types of ingredients, you could, such as you could put carrots in here. You'd have to count the calories on the carrots. If you really wanted to make this into a meal, you could probably cut up some chicken breast, maybe cook it up and then throw that in there, and that would make actually a fairly hearty stew. And in fact, if I could actually, if I had poured the tomato juice in there and put it in a can of cream of chicken with some chicken broth, and as well as some cut up chicken breast with some egg noodles and carrots and maybe a potato, I would have chicken stew, which I may show you how to make that later on. But yeah, but that of course going to be a much higher in calorie. That's going to be a meal, and actually probably a rather fatty meal. But this one, like I said, well, for all of this, we're looking at like 500 calories. I mean, for this entire pot. And this is actually about 2 gallons. This is a 4-gallon pot, so it's got it about half full, a little over half full. So it's somewhere between 2 to 2.5 gallons. So for a bowl, that's going to be like 50 calories or something. So yeah. So now that you've mixed it all thoroughly together, we'll get one more good mix here. And I'll just make sure I got everything mixed up now. All you have to do now, I would keep the heat up on high until this comes to a boil. Then I would lower it to a simmer, and I would let it cook until the celery is very soft. Everything is very soft. Being the celery is the most the most condensed thing in there, the most thick thing in there. Once it is soft, then it's going to be ready. And folks, that's it. It's a very simple recipe. Just cut up some vegetables, throw in with a can of tomato juice, a can of chicken broth, some spices, and let it boil, and you have the soup. As you can see, my soup is done. I've already took a bowl out to cool, so I took it a little bit down in volume, but as you can see, everything is pretty much boiled well and boiled down. It smells wonderful, and I'm sure this will make a good meal. So that's it. Soup's on. And voila. Here we go. Our magic dietary vegetable soup. So, you notice I got a big bowl. Because guess what? I can eat a big bowl of this, which is, psychologically at least, very satisfying. So, let's give it a taste, all right? I'm doing the Philly lean so I don't get it on my suit, That's actually very good. And I'm a fat guy. I'm not that big on health food that's bland. That's very tasty. I mean, I could eat, I could see myself actually eating this meal, but no, this has very little nutritional value, but it's great as a filler with all that celery and cabbage and onions in there. Very good. And I can't stop eating it. So, like I said, very simple to make. It will curb hunger. It will fill you up. I will say, because of the cabbage and the onions, might cause a little bit of gaseous issues. So you want to keep that in mind. And at least warn your spouse or mate. Maybe people at the office, But other than that, it is a very filling soup. It's a very tasty soup. And and if you are trying to lose some weight, this can be a lifesaver. So definitely make it, try it out. And you know what? Let me know how it turned out. In fact, let's keep this going. If you're enjoying my content, then please, hit this little King Henry head with my pretty face. And give me both a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I love getting new subscribers and fans. I enjoy hearing from my fans. So you know what, you go make the soup, enjoy it when you feel like you're starving to death in the middle of the night. Slim down, and either way, whether you're fat or slim, you stay pretty. I'm gonna finish this soup.